What's up, guys, and welcome back for another solo mining episode. In this one, we're going to be talking even more about having a clean UI and just going over some more safety stuff and just keeping yourself in the money by not subjecting yourself to ship losses and stuff like that. Now, we're out in the Mackinaw today. It's been a minute since we've done Mackinaw mining, so I figured that's kind of a good backdrop for this. I'm also live commentating this just so we can look at what's happening in the system, and I can kind of comment on that stuff while it's happening. Now, lately we've been talking a lot about UI, having a clean UI, not having unneeded information that can cloud potential dangers and things like that. And a lot of that comes down to just having that dedicated PvP overview. Like I have one right down here. And this is as simple as just making a PvP tab, having a filter that shows ships, drones, things like that, and assign that filter to that tab. And all you have to do is go in here and just move that tab to a new window and pin it somewhere. You always have your local grid right there ready to go. You can also, that same filter that I use for this overview down here is also used in this D-scan. So you just drop down the filter, select that, or drop down this list and select that filter. And so right now we're looking at D-scan. We see nothing but ships. We see a buzzard, we see a caracal, we see ships that we're actually worried about. Now this Mackinaw fit is probably not going to be very enticing for most people, because we're running like the maximum tank that we could possibly do on this ship. Does that mean it will never die? Absolutely not, but it does reduce its chances. We're also looking at local too. We don't see anything that is potentially from our -10 contacts in local. If there was, we would just, mine somewhere else, or, kind of wait a little while. But the thing is, you never know. You never know if any of these, guys are just willing to go criminal to get, a kill on you. So I've been doing kill mail reviews for a while now. There's I've done 4 episodes for Patreon now, and I'm kind of seeing the same thing over and over, day after day. A lot of yield sticks in high sec that are dying and things like that. I just don't personally. I don't recommend going full yield in your lows. In high sec, you just it's just not worth it. You have a lot more control in places like, and it sounds ironic, but you have a lot more control in places like nullsec to be able to go full yield in that stuff. But like out here, like these guys on local, you never know what the situation is going to be. And like anytime anybody shows up here with a red mark on them, then I'm going to be like looking at them and things like that, and keeping a good information. Like always look at info. It's like that guy's already out of local actually, so we saw him. And we're also just periodically doing D-scan. We do D-scan all the time. Anytime I see any movement in local, actually, I'm just like hitting that D-scan button as much as possible. So to give you an idea, we'll look at this fit here, and you'll kind of see what we've got going on here. So this is actually, it's cap stable, even though we're going to see and hear the capacitor warning quite a bit, because we come down pretty low, down to about 5%. But reinforced bulkheads with damage control 2, with we have 2 multi-specs and a compact, and then we also have a medium shield extender. We can actually go large here, which I'll probably switch out, but 83. So right now we're running 83,000 EHP. This should be a large actually. I don't know why it's a medium, but also medium core defense extenders, and then also an EM reinforcer. These normally I like running defense field extender on both, but this is like my spare Mackinaw, so we do have a little bit to fill that EM hole there, and then modulated strip miners and stuff like that. The other important thing here is we're not carrying more crystals than we need. We're going to fill up, go back to station and dump anyway, so we can refill our crystals as needed. There's no sense in carrying like 20 plus crystals. It just adds way too much value when we're scanning stuff like that. But as you can see here, we're just kind of chilling, and that's pretty much what I do. Is like, I don't ever do like AFK mining. That's the thing, is I think it's especially in high seg, it's way too crazy and way too spicy out in high sec these days to really do anything worth like anything close to like AFKing. When I'm sitting here and I'm mining and this guy's doing his thing, I'm running that D scan. I got a D scan out to 5 AU right now, which kind of shows the neighborhood a little bit, but we can bring it about to 14. 14 will give us even a bigger picture of what's around us. So right now, D scan's showing a drone, a Miasmos, a retriever, fellow miners. So really nothing crazy going on here. We don't have any home front operations, so it's like we don't see a lot of traffic from like Osprey fleets and things like that, and that's why whenever you see a lot of people jumping local, especially if they're not on your negative contacts, figuring out trying to get a good idea of what they're doing in system is beneficial to you. Whether they're passing through, if they're passing through, they're not going to be in system that long, but they are hanging out, and you start seeing a lot of activity on D scan. Is there a home front operation going on? God forbid if you're in like a faction warfare system, like mining in a faction warfare system is fine if you're like an adventure or like a expeditionary frigate, but in my opinion, mining barges and exhumers should stay away from that because those systems are already going to get PvP attention because of faction warfare. If their plexes are boring or whatever, then they see a miner on scan, then you're the next best thing to content at that moment. But always just keep things running. And I think one of the most important things is like that I haven't really covered a whole lot on the channel is like filtering that D scan and having this PvP overview separate and out to see all the time, because you don't want to sit there and even when we're warping around, we go to our warp tab here and we can still see what's on grid with us. We can switch between mining or any of our specialty tabs without ever having essentially our eyes off the grid and things like that. And if you've watching the channel for a while and you've watched me mining, or if you watched the Zero ROI channel, you'll notice that I D-scan a lot, and that's a good reason why we want as much current information as possible. But other than that, figured I would just kind of like live commentary, some Mackinaw mining today, cover the cover the UI thing a little bit. I think there's a lot of people that probably lose ships because there's too much information on their screen, or they're not D-scanning enough. Those things can just save you a lot. And I personally I used to go like min-max, used to go really max yield on everything, but that was primarily when I was in like nullsec and stuff, where you can control a little bit. In nullsec it's either they're blue or there's no newts at all, and high sec everybody's a neutral essentially. And I would prefer to like take less yield and potentially not have to replace a 300 million ISK ship, and I end up making more money on the long run. Now obviously if you could guarantee that you never died, then yeah, you'd go full yield stick and you'd maximize your per cycle income and stuff like that. But it's just not the case anymore. I mean, high sec is, like I said, really spicy these days. Alright, so we got some Punishers. And so the thing is, you can go to D-scan here and even look at this stuff. You can figure out what class it is. You got frigates. You can get as much information as possible. And if you're D-scanning enough, you can kind of see them come in and out of your zone and see movement. Now a lot of this traffic is actually because we've got a few new SIGs in the system, and a lot of these guys are actually probably multi-boxing these SIGs and all that stuff. But that's kind of how that goes. Now we are in a 0.1, or not 0.1, but we're in a 1.0 high sec system, so we have the lowest amount of Concord timers, but you can't really rely on that because there are other factors at play there. You just kind of have to like do your best to keep your situational awareness peaked at all times. Actually, we don't want that score die rock. Let's get that out of here. We're on build right now. I basically get a bunch of build for industry, so we need to stack as much of that stuff as possible. But yeah, see, we got Ospreys and we got other stuff on D-scan too. They run sites. We know that because if they're in range of us and they see us and they move off of D-scan, in most cases they're warping to SIGs and stuff like that. But also just by having that overview up, if somebody comes on grid with you, then It's very, very telling. Like, we have nothing on grid with us right now. If another miner came on here, we'd see them straight up. And also, we are outside the arc. So normally they're going to come in right here. And so we're out here. We want to be on the outside of the rock arc in most cases. Now, the reason I haven't been on the Mackinaw in a while is because I've been really enjoying the Skiff. The Skiff is like the serious brick, right? And, you know, it's running kind of the same, you know, situation where it's got reinforced bulkheads, damage controls, and a bunch of, you know, hardeners and a large shield extender, all that stuff. This ship can actually go even higher. And I think I actually, I have a large shield extender. It's just, it didn't, I think it's on the Skiff actually. So for instance, if we drop this on here, remove this compact, you know, it's a little heavy. Go large FS9, you know, and we're pretty much good to go. That gives us like an extra 1,000 EHP with an empty slot. You could potentially throw scanning equipment in here, potentially, just for some utility. And the other thing you'll notice too is even when I'm messing around with bits and stuff like that, or if I'm doing product discovery, I'm still doing that D-scan in the background. You don't want anybody to sneak up on you while you got your attention off on something else as well and everything. I usually play the sound off anyway, because like some of these, like, you know, when we're really, you know, fitting to the max, or even though we're stable, the capacitor warning is going to drive you mad sometimes. But it's worth it. So obviously we go with a large FS9 with a survey scanner. It would give us a 1,000 extra EHP, but I do kind of like the idea of having like the two multi and the compact, and then a medium in the mid, and it works out pretty well. But other than that, you know, that's kind of everything I've talked. If you guys have any questions anytime about mining, EVE Online in general, whatever, we've started live streaming every day on Twitch. Now I'm live streaming product discovery. That's one of our major goals right now. Getting caught up with that stuff as well. But, you know, come in there. If you see me streaming, come in there, ask questions. I'll be happy to, you know, answer anything that you guys are wondering about and everything. But I haven't really been doing a whole lot of mining lately, as you can probably tell, you know, from the channel. It's just today's probably the first day I've gone out and you know, taken and put lasers on rocks for a while. But we've got another solar industry video coming out this week. You know, we need to stack a little bit more trit, so I figured this would be a perfect opportunity today to kind of just, you know, catch you guys up on a little bit and just talk about that UI situation. I never really covered the importance of UI in the past, just because I just didn't think it was an issue. I know people have like seen my UI and, you know, liked it and wanted it and things like that. But after like seeing, you know, screenshots or videos of other people mining, it's you know, atrocious. It's like some of you guys are running some pretty unorganized UIs. And if you are interested and you want like a shortcut, my UI file is available on Patreon. It's a public post. You don't have to be a paid member to get my UI. So you can get that, download it, you can import it, and, you know, start customizing it to your liking and stuff. And all you do is just download that file, and then go in here to miscellaneous and go to import, and import all the filters that I have, all the tabs that I have, and start customizing it and getting that stuff where it needs to be. But I'm telling you, like, if you get used to using a dedicated PvP overview and you get that D-scan filtered for that same thing, it's gonna change your world. It's gonna make mining so much easier. You will be able to not be over. I mean, I can't imagine going back and, like, you know, going all filter on D-scan. I'd be overstimulated. I don't need to see moons or planets. I basically need to only see on D-scan what can hurt me, depending on what activity I'm doing. And what's nice is that chip and PvP filter works with pretty much anything. If I'm out mining or doing exploration, or, I mean, the one thing you should be looking for is stuff that can hurt you. There's no reason to have moons on the D-scan. The only situation I can think of like having moons or planets on a D-scan is if you're actually like flying around and bookmarking and doing surveys and stuff like that. But in those cases, you're going to be finding stuff that's cheap and pretty agile. So still not, I mean, ever since I, you know, ever since I made this filter and made this, because I use this filter in this overview used to be just a tab. Before we had multiple overviews, I would target up all my rocks in my mining tab, and I'd switch back over to my PvP tab, and that's where we would hang out. The fact that they added multiple overviews means that now I can just stay on my mining tab, or I can stay on my warp tab, and I never have to have eyes off of DScan or the grid at all, which is great. And keep in mind, we are in a system with 37 people in local, so there's a scroll bar because I have my UI set kind of short. But like I'm sitting there and I'm just in between D scans, I'm just kind of using my scroll wheel and just kind of scrolling through local, making sure I don't see anybody that's on my list. But I highly recommend you do your own research on Z Killboard. Look at ganks, filter it by high sec. Look every day, every couple days, whatever, maybe once a week. Look at the people who are actually out there killing the ships that you normally fly, and start building that contact list. Now I have a solo corporation, so all of my contacts are added at the corp level, so that individual characters don't have to actually worry about adding those guys. They just join the corporation and they have all that information. But either do your own research or periodically go check out Patreon, where I'm doing the kill mail reviews over there, and pull the information you need from there. I actually just added a new corporation, or actually a new alliance, to my negative 10s as well, based on the most recent episode for the kill mail review today. We're always adding more. Like, here's somebody. This is that same guy again, right? Probably coming back through. He probably went to Jita, and he's probably coming right back through. So looking at the scope. And so while this guy's in system, we're actually going to be speeding up the use of D-Scan, right? So we got Nighthawk, Miasmos, got some Retriever still, got regular probe scanner. If you see combat probes in a high-sec system like this, it's pretty much a good idea to take a sandwich break and whatnot. But any ship that you don't understand, like if you see a ship on D-Scan that you don't know, just look at that thing. Like, go to show info, go to description, go to attributes. Traits is a good thing. See if it's like, what makes up that ship. What do you think it's going to be doing? In a lot of cases, expensive ships that are used for like PvE are not going to be used as ganking. So you can deduce a lot of information just based on, what ships are actually on D-Scan about what's about to happen. Yeah, so that guy's already out of local again. So I'm thinking he probably went to Jita, because we're only like 2 jumps from Jita. He probably went to Jita, did whatever he had to do, and he's coming back through this way. And that's kind of what we do while we're mining. We're building. We're just kind of watching everybody, trying to figure out what the movements of everything is. Now, obviously, we're in a pretty populated system. You would be better off being away from Jita, like not even in the forge, away from trade hubs where there's nobody in local. You don't have a scroll bar in local, so you don't have to worry about that. Then if there's only a few people, maybe 10 or less people in local, you can already look at info on all of them. You can get a good idea. One of the first things I look at when I look at a player is their security status. If it's -10 or -5 or something like that, then they like to PvP and they like to gank, especially if they're out there in a remote high-sec system that you might be mining in. Sometimes it's not as easy as just seeing like a negative standing. Sometimes, gankers will, go and gank a few people and then they'll go fix their standings and you won't see it. So, but it's, good to know all that stuff that you're looking through and everything. But other than that, this week is going to be pretty much a lot of mining. I want to take the Mackinaw off today, but I think we're probably going to chill in the Skiff a little bit later today as well. I've got a live stream still today, so we're going to be getting the product discovery done on live stream. Like I said, if you're watching this on the day it came out, chances are I'm still live, so go and ask questions. But usually, same time every day, I'm trying to stream over there on Twitch. And I'm more than willing to answer questions or help you guys out any way I can. That's kind of what we do here. You can also join the Discord, obviously. Ask questions in there. If not myself, then other members of the Discord will be able to help you out as well. But the point is just to get mining done and not be replacing ships all the time and everything like that. But I think it's gonna be pretty much it for this episode. I really appreciate you guys for watching. Like I said, if you want to download my overview and kind of start customizing it for your needs, it's on Patreon. It's a free post on there. Go in there and find it. Also, there's a UI copier that I use on there. It's also free. That's what I use to quickly copy everything, so all my alts are matched. And then also my client switcher that you've seen me use doing product discovery or doing fleet mining is also on there. We're constantly adding stuff to Patreon. That's one of our big focuses now, and there's a lot of value going up there right now in terms of like Excel spreadsheets, bits, the kill mail reviews, the files, or overviews, all that kind of stuff. That's where it all lives and everything. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.